Well, hello and welcome to day 75. Now, today we're going to move from intention into action. Okay, and we're going to do that by talking about today's topic, day 75, which is also the third step in our blueprint for creating results. And today we're going to talk about decision making. Now, making decisions is obviously very, very important, correct? Here's the deal. When you make a decision, you got to stick with the decision. Now, we're going to talk about commitment coming up. But today is all about just making the decision. Okay, so here's what I mean by this. There used to be a reality show on, which you're probably familiar with, because the guy who was on the reality show is now our president. However, take that out of the equation, and I want to share something with you. In this reality show, he would have to every week fire somebody. And I remember learning this lesson this one time from him. He would go through the sort of whys and the hows and the ultimately arrive at who he should fire. And what he would do is sometimes it was really hard for him to make that decision to fire that person. But he would say, you know, you're fired. And then that person would walk out of the room and he would turn to his kids or whoever was in the room with them and he would say, it was the right decision. And he would just move on. Now, one thing that stuck out to me is how very few of us make decisions in that way. See, a lot of us make decisions, but we're kind of wishy-washy about it, right? It's kind of like, I think I'm going to decide to work out. And then that's a decision that we make for like a day. But tomorrow, it's a totally different decision, right? Tomorrow, it's like, yeah, maybe we aren't going to work out. Real decision-making means you make a decision one time. Now, there will be daily sort of reevaluations of decisions, but what I'm trying to share with you, and the key to this results creation, is you have to make one decision one time. Now, here's what this means. When I was growing up, I personally didn't really, I didn't do any drugs and I didn't drink any alcohol. That was a decision I had to make one time. Sure, there was opportunities to drink or to do drugs and I would get approached at parties or whatever, and I just would say no because years earlier I made the decision that I wasn't going to drink or smoke. That was just my personal decision. Everybody makes different ones. That was mine. So when it comes to decisions, it's a decision we make one time, and not only should that signify to us that we've decided, but it should also signify to the world that we've taken a stance. Now, this is one of my favorite stories. At my 10-year high school reunion, I was sitting at a table with some friends of mine who from high school knew that I had made the decision in high school that I wasn't going to drink or smoke. And here we're at this table, and one of our other friends, another person who I went to high school with, walks up to the table, very, very drunk, and hands a beer to everybody at the table. 2 or 3 of my friends at the table with me, who had not seen me in 10 years, immediately reach over and grab the beer, and they say, we know you're not going to drink that, Clayson. And let me tell you what that meant to me. It meant that they knew that I'd made a decision that I was going to stick to my guns. It wasn't just a thing where I was like, I don't think I'm going to drink today. I just knew, for me, I wasn't going to do that. And they knew it, and I signified it to the world. So that decision was made one time, and then the ripple effect was even happening 10 years later when people who I hadn't seen knew what the decision was that I'd made. So why do I share that? Because when it comes to results creation, you have to make a decision and be very specific and distinct in that decision, and I want you to just stick with it. Make a decision one time. Like Donald Trump did, you're fired, that decision, it was done, it was out of his head, the decision was made. He wasn't going to waver, he wasn't going to go back. When I decided not to drink, then that was just a decision I made. I wasn't going to waver. I wasn't going to go back. To this day, I've not gone back. You need to make a decision, and it needs to be a real decision that sticks. So here's the result for today. I want you to make a decision on what you're going to work on for the rest of this challenge. I want you to write it down, print it out, and put it up. Okay? So if you think it's weight loss, great. If you think it's money, great. If you think it's whatever you want to do, okay? I don't care. You need to make that decision now, today. Write down what that decision is. I, enter your name, am going to do X. Okay, and then I want you to write that down, print it out, and I want you to put it up because you're not going to waver from that decision. All right? Get to it. We'll see you tomorrow.